Will China actually make an artificial sun? Will the Book of Boba Fett series be better than The Mandalorian? And what is the future of the Toddcast? Well, I talk about all that and more on this episode of the Toddcast. Hello everyone and welcome to the Toddcast. As always, I'm your host, Todd McManus. It is a cool, crisp 38 degrees outside right now. It is quite chilly. It has very much gotten cold since the new year has turned around. Of course, I want to go ahead and say Happy New Year again. Happy late New Year, I should say. To all of you out there listening, this is the first episode of myself of the new year of 2022. This is going to be a big year for all of us. You may be wondering why this episode is is titled the way it is, but your answers will have questions. Your questions will have answers by the end of this episode. Make sure you wait until the end of the episode, and we're going to talk about, we as in me, I'm going to talk about what the future of the Toddcast holds throughout the year of 2022. Give y'all a little bit of a heads up, a look into the future, what some things that might be coming in the future, and just waiting and seeing. And also, I'm pretty much graduating in May of this year, so we'll have to see what happens there and with work and all that kind of stuff. And we'll just talk about it and dive into it at the end of this episode after the drink review. So stick around, and you just have to keep tuning in to find out about that, I guess. But go ahead and get into some news here. This is actually a developing story. This is an update on basically a story I talked about, I feel like it was almost a year ago, because I definitely talked about this with Jaron at some point, but it's been a while. And it was, you heard it in the intro actually, that China was making an artificial sun to, there was a lot of things that either was rumors or this might be something else than what we thought, because if you've been listening for the past year or so, you remember one of the conversations I had on here and with Jaron actually is that China was going to make like a couple like giant mirrors is basically what they were going to make, and they're going to put them in the sky and have them orbit around Earth, and it's going to reflect the sunlight when the sun's like on the opposite side of the planet back at China or something like that. So therefore they can get rid of light poles at night. You know, those like just, you're walking on a sidewalk and there's just like those little poles that have a light bulb on it. They're trying to get rid of that and make it brighter at night. And that's what I thought this was going to be. But apparently what they're doing is that they're making an artificial sun to harness the power of nuclear fusion is what they're trying to do. Meaning if we can make our own artificial sun and harness the power of it, therefore we don't really need anything else, you know, that causes from power, you know, like power plants and electricity and all that kind of stuff. If we like, that's why so many people were like nuclear reactors and nuclear power plants are the way to go, because you can have one power plant that's nuclear can produce so much more energy than just like a normal electrical power plant can. And so they switched on the artificial sun, like they actually have tested it, and it burned 5 times hotter than the sun, than our actual, like, out in the solar system sun that you see every day. This artificial one in China burned 5 times hotter than that. And it says right here, it reached over 100 million degrees Celsius, which is actually 6 times hotter than the center of our sun. So literally, this artificial sun burns hotter than the core of our own actual sun. And it says these scientists are hoping that they will be able to harness the power of nuclear fusion, like I said, It would bring humanity a step closer to creating unlimited clean energy by mimicking reactions that naturally occur inside the real sun. So if we're able to make our own sun and have it to where it can make power for us and all this, we'll only need probably like a couple of these, and if you just turn it on and it just makes this nuclear fusion power just on its own, we can harness it and have, like it said, unlimited clean energy for basically the entire world. And we'll get to the point where we won't need, burning fossil fuels or anything like that, that a lot of people say like messes up the environment or whatever. This won't mess up if it explodes or something, it would definitely mess up the environment. But if it's like okay and it acts naturally, the way it naturally just works, it won't mess up environment, atmosphere, anything like that. It's just going to burn really hot and then it'll be okay and make a lot of power for a lot of people. And like it said, if it you just turn it on and boom, unlimited energy. So, I think it's a good idea to have it's always been an idea, of course, when you think about it, that how can everybody have energy that is just unlimited and we can just have it forever, instead of having to worry about, this, that. But if there's these artificial suns that produces the nuclear fusion, that we can make unlimited energy out of that and be able to provide energy worldwide to everybody across the world, to all 7.5 billion of us, then why wouldn't we? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if it has its good and bad sides to this, but in my opinion, it sounds like it has more good than bad. That if we're able to get one of these in not every country, but I don't know how many of these artificial suns it would take to power the entire world. I don't know that statistic. I don't know how much power one can produce. It says it can do unlimited energy, but I don't think one could power the entire world. Unless I'm mistaken that the power of this artificial sun holds. It reaches 100 million degrees Celsius. That's freaking hot. Like, that's melting. Like, if you get in there at that temperature and you touch that, you're melted to pieces. Or to nothing, actually. You just disintegrate. Full on, just Thanos snap, But I don't know. It says China's currently on the course by the end of this year that they'll be fully finished with this artificial sun. And we'll see what happens. Of course, I'll talk about it. I'll definitely talk about it whenever it decides, when they're actually like done with it towards the end of the year. But it's very interesting is the thing to me. It's like, it's just the idea of having this one machine can produce energy for countless number of people, and it's unlimited. It never runs out because it's just hot. Like, I don't fully understand the science behind it between nuclear fusion and all this kind of stuff, and that we're able to get so much unlimited clean energy from something that just burns really hot. Like, it's confusing to me, but if I looked into it enough, I would probably understand it. But my current understanding of the matter right now is not a lot with nuclear fusion and artificial suns and all that kind of stuff. Because it's not like solar energy, I don't think. Because solar energy is the sun looking at it. But this is an artificial sun, so it's just a machine. So it's not producing sunlight. It's just producing very hot temperature that we're able to harness that power and make nuclear fusion to make clean energy. So it's confusing, but it's also very interesting at the same time. So I'll be looking more into that as soon as it comes. But if y'all want to look that up, just look up China artificial sun, and there will be a crap ton of stuff you can look at. So also, I want to talk about this. I saw this today, actually, literally like an hour ago. So with the Tesla Cybertruck, there's apparently like a camper feature that you can get added on to the Cybertruck. Any of y'all out there pre-order that thing? I did not. I don't know if it's ever going to be released. Like, the Cybertruck is one of those entities that is just like, I feel like I've heard about it for such a long time now, and I don't know when it's going to be released to the general public. The only time I ever saw somebody drive one was on YouTube, and it was like Elon Musk was the only one that drove it. So I don't know when it's coming out. I thought it was coming out this year, like this new year in 2022, but I don't know. I really don't. Like, it's interesting. It still looks weird, but also cool at the same time. But apparently this is a camper, like, box-looking thing that you can put in or on the back of the Cybertruck. And it, like, folds out into this weird-looking building that you can, like, sleep in. Where does it start? I just looked up an article about it. The camper will be another compelling option for the huge Cybertruck. It is a huge and expandable box that fits right into the Cybertruck's bed. Once you fully open it, it has an impressive 71 square feet of interior space. It's a micro home camper with a sleeping area, a small kitchen, a portable toilet, and a wall-mounted shower. In addition, there's plenty of storage space, and there's a roof-mounted 400-watt solar panel system. It's capable of running off a 300 AH deep-cycle lithium-ion battery. Okay, whatever. They're doing pre-orders for the micro home camper now. It's doing an initial limited run. Pricing starts at $69,500. Good Lord. Is that for the truck and the camper or just the camper? And as of late April of 2021, which was last year, they already had 1,100 reservations or pre-orders, and it's $50 million worth. Good Lord. Like, I understand people want to get it because, I mean, it looks cool, and I think it's actually going to be good because it's the first ever Tesla all-electric pickup truck, and it just looks... would I drive it? Yes. I definitely would drive the Cybertruck. I mean, look at it. How could I not pick the Cybertruck to drive it? I mean, I'm waiting on it. Elon, I know you're listening to this. Please let me drive the Cybertruck. I really want to just drive it. Like, I don't even know if I want to own it. I just want to, like, test drive it. That's what I really want to do because it's just the thought of the Cybertruck. And then now you have this camper that goes on it, and it deploys like a little building off the back of it. Like it said, it's a 71 square foot building that has like its own room for sleeping. You have a bathroom in there, a small kitchen. There's a wall-mounted shower. Some of that stuff is on the outside, and then there's the little room that has a bed in it on the inside. So you can Google that. Just look up Cybertruck camper, and it's a whole thing. And it is very weird. Like, I don't really understand. I mean, I understand the purpose of it, of course. That way you don't have to haul around a camper. Which, I mean, it's a good idea, honestly, when you think about it. But I just can't get over the way the Cybertruck looks. It still looks weird. It's not stupid, in my opinion. I don't think it looks dumb. But it's close. It's close to that threshold for me. Because I know for a lot of people, they were like, oh, it looks like a truck out of a PS2 game. And I understand what you're saying with the polygons and all that kind of, and the shape and the angles. But it's got to be good to drive around. Like, just the feeling of it, you know. Because that's whenever Tesla were announcing that, like, oh, yeah, we're making the Cybertruck. We're also going to make a electric four-wheeler. And then they made the electric semi-truck. So they're making just every vehicle that's just electric. Like, when are we going to get the electric boat? And when are we going to get I've been waiting for the electric plane. Like, that's what I want to understand is, will Tesla ever make an electric jet or something, you know? And that'll be interesting to see whenever we have an all-electric plane, but I don't know. I mean, we might already have one that I don't know about from some third-party corporation or company that I don't know about. But other than that, like, I'm waiting to see what Tesla does about it. So, which Elon's worried about SpaceX and all that too, trying to get to the moon and get back to the moon and go to Mars too. So, it's interesting times. And also with like, Tesla's the best option right now whenever we decide to go to Mars, and the idea of making like a colony. And if we ever get to the point where we need to drive back and forth to two different places on Mars, electric vehicles are the best option, because I don't know. There's no like oil or anything on Mars, which there might be. I don't know. I don't know the facts and everything about that, but until we're able to make any kind of fuel or anything on Mars, electric is the way to go, of course, whenever we start going to Moon and Mars or any other planet, really. So, I mean, Tesla's the best way right now that we have to take electric vehicles if we plan on going to a Mars colony or something like that. So, it's just really interesting to see just everything. The camper, of course, is in itself is kind of cool looking. It honestly is, in my opinion. But if the camper by itself costs $70,000, good Lord, because understandable for what it looks like, but it's not 71 square feet for almost $70,000. Whew, like, good, no. Like, I'm fine without, honestly. I will sleep in the Cybertruck at that point, So, yeah, so, like, I don't plan on getting a Cybertruck whenever it drops, but I really do honestly want to get a Tesla when I, like, just thinking about cars and stuff, and, like, in the current way that we're going right now, whether, like, gas prices, they go up and down, it doesn't really matter. They'll be up one day above $3, or they'll be close to $2 and next week, and they'll be way up because of something, and then they'll go way back down. It's like it fluctuates. But then there's going to be some point in the next few to many years, I don't really know when, that we're going to get to the point of, probably not in my lifetime, but of like a gas scarcity, of where we're going to run out of gas, and that's when electric cars are useful, of course, to get that kind of thing. And especially if, like, going back to the last subject about the artificial sun from China, if we're able to use it and harness it for unlimited clean energy and have it to use for electricity, it will power the cars. Therefore, we have unlimited energy, and then electric cars that can run off of this unlimited energy. Boom, that's all we need, honestly, because once gas gets to a point of where quote unquote we're running out, it will become more and more expensive. And then that's to the point of, like, okay, you need a Tesla, you need this electric Ford vehicle, or the electric Chevy, or whatever, because all the main car companies are making more electric vehicles. So, I don't know, like, if I had to choose an electric truck made by Chevy or an electric, like the Cybertruck made by Tesla, I don't really know who I would have to go with, because Tesla's been doing this for years. Electric vehicles are their thing. While Chevy makes good vehicles, in my opinion, and I have, like, the truck I drive is a Chevy, I don't know. Like, it takes some time to think, because it's like there's a lot of factors you got to put in, and the price is another thing, because they're making these electric vehicles, and Elon has said in the past that he's trying to make electric vehicles affordable for everybody. So he's trying to go down on the prices for the cars while keeping them sustainable for years. That way you can own it for a long time without it breaking down or something wrong happening that isn't your fault, of course, until the car just, like, gives up, because that happens sometimes, of course. But I don't really know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens out of this Cybertruck and what happens next out of Tesla and all the other corporations that are making so many different electric cars and variations of their own vehicles that are electrical now. It's something. But yeah, and within the next, I give it another 5 years, I will probably buy myself a vehicle, I imagine. And I definitely think I'm going to get a Tesla because, I mean, it's a Tesla. Like, I really do in the next few years, like, because, like, the plan, you know, we all have our own life plan, you know, especially me at my age. I mean, I'm 22 years old, so it's like I have a plan of stuff that I would like to do, like build a decent big size house, not huge, you know, like not like a gigantic mansion that's got like 20 bedrooms or nothing, but I would like a bigger house, you know, and a garage that has one of those Tesla charging cords in it. And that's why I would want a Tesla, because one, I'd be saving money from not paying gas, and then two, I'm building a new house that will be able to charge a Tesla while not taking power from the rest of the house. You know what I'm saying? Because apparently that was like a big problem that's been happening in the past couple months during COVID, I think, is more people started buying Teslas because they're saving on gas money. But whenever they would charge their Tesla, they couldn't turn anything else on in their house because the older houses that were built basically like 90s and before, if your house was built from late 90s, early 2000s, and before that, of course, they weren't made for using so much power for charging a vehicle. And that's why it was like, because, you know, when you ever live in a place or you ever been somewhere where it's like if you turn on like the hairdryer or a microwave or something and the lights dim because you're using too much power on one thing and it's trying to disperse the power to more than one thing instead of just that one light, it's now going to that light and something else. That's why the lights get dim whenever you turn something on that uses a lot of electricity. Or like if your air conditioner kicks on and the lights dim a little bit or flicker, you know. That was the problem they were having with Tesla vehicles. But the thing is, the vehicle would pull all the electricity, and then they couldn't use anything else in the house. So it's like, that's why it's like I gotta build like just a futuristic house with doors that I walk up to and it's motion activated, and the door slides into the ceiling or into the floor or anything like that. Like that, I mean, that'd be cool, but that's not what I want. It would be just futuristic in the sense that I will be able to charge my Tesla and run the AC or run anything in my house without having to worry like, oh, I got to turn everything on. I got to turn off the AC, the heat. I got to turn all the TVs off. I got to turn all the lights off because I got to charge my car. Like, I don't know. But I do definitely think in the next 5 or less years, I most likely will own a Tesla because of graduating in 4 or 5 months from now and getting out into the workforce and then work for, like, if I buy a Tesla in 5 years from now, I would have graduated in 4 to 5 months from now, worked for 4.5 years, and once I like get a house and then get a Tesla, by that point I'll be well off enough on the money side of things to be able to get one. And I definitely think more and more people are buying Teslas every year, so it's like it's inevitable that I'm going to get one at this point. So yeah, that was my whole Tesla conversation. I don't know. Oh, we were talking about the camper, the Cybertruck camper. It's cool if you want to get a Cybertruck, you can. Honestly, if you don't plan on getting a Cybertruck, you should just look up Cybertruck camper anyway, because it really is interesting looking and just really cool. Honestly, just the thought of it, of course. And you would think about something like this, but it really just looks like this box, and then it folds out into this big thing. It's really something. You just got to look it up. So Google Cybertruck camper, and yeah, and I'm going to own a Tesla in the next couple of years. So going into a little bit of some entertainment news for you, because it made me mad. Was it yesterday? No, it was 2 days ago, I think. The Sony Marvel movie Morbius was supposed to come out January 28th, I'm guessing, or the 20th. January 20. I'm just going to say the 20th. January 20th. has now been pushed back to April the 1st. On April Fool's Day, which that day is hardly ever celebrated anymore. I don't even know why it was a holiday in the first place, because it's one of the worst holidays is April Fool's Day. But in my opinion, which is true. But Morbius, I was excited for it because of everything, because of the fallout from Spider-Man No Way Home. That's kind of what this movie is now. And it just looks like it was going to be a good movie anyway. But now I got to wait until April the 1st to watch it, But in the meantime, we have Book of Boba Fett right now, which is good, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. There's going to be more Marvel series on Disney Plus soon, but they haven't said which one is next and when it comes out, because it's Moon Knight is done, and it'll be coming out this year. Miss Marvel is done, it'll be coming out this year, and I think She-Hulk is done too. So those three were the main three that I know of that are this year, and I'm pretty sure season 2 of What If might come later this year. They're currently working on Mandalorian season 3 over at Star Wars as well. The Kenobi show this year, a series called Andor, which is also Star Wars, is coming out this year. So it's the main thing that we know of from Marvel as of right now is just the movies this year. The Doctor Strange movie in May, the Thor movie in July, and then the next Black Panther movie in November. So it'll be interesting to see what series comes next, and of course I'm going to watch them all no matter when they come out, but I was hoping one of them would be announced soon, because Book of Boba Fett, I'll go ahead and talk about this. Book of Boba Fett had its second episode this week, which is really good, and it is going to have a total of only 7 episodes. So there's only 5 more after this week. And with a new episode every Wednesday. Because Wednesday's been Disney Plus Day almost. Because all the Star Wars and Marvel shows have been coming out on Wednesdays. And if they have a series 2 running at the same time, they do one on Wednesday and then the other one on Friday. But they haven't really been running more than one at a time. They've really been doing Marvel, okay, Star Wars, and then we'll do one Star Wars, okay, now Marvel, Star Wars, Marvel, Star Wars, Marvel, as soon as one Marvel would end, one Marvel show, they would take a week off the next week and no shows, and then the next would be a new Marvel show. And then it would run, and then when it ended, the next week was Book of Boba Fett. That's what happened with Hawkeye. Hawkeye ended the week of Christmas, and then the next week after Christmas, the week in between Christmas and New Year's, was Book of Boba Fett. So it's good so far. I like it. It's only 2 episodes in. If you haven't watched it and you have Disney Plus, you should definitely check out the Book of Boba Fett, available now. The first 2 episodes are anyway. It's very good. I liked it. As of right now, I don't know if it's going to be better than Mandalorian, because season 2 of Mandalorian was better than season 1, in my opinion. But it's good. It's got the same feeling as Boba Fett. He's a cool character, and everything that's happening in the second episode really laid down the line of what's going to kind of happen in this season. It's been rumored that the Mandalorian, of course, will show up, that Luke Skywalker might show up, that the bounty hunter from the Clone Wars called Cad Bane might show up. Really just waiting to see what's going to happen, honestly, at this point, because it's just a bunch of rumors, as it normally is. You can't really go by just rumors. You can go by rumors with, the Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire thing from Spider-Man No Way Home. But you can't go by all the rumors because of the Mephisto rumor that has been raving throughout the Marvel community ever since WandaVision back in January of last year. Literally a year ago, when WandaVision premiered, everybody thought Mephisto would be the main villain. And then they thought that when... They didn't think that in Falcon Winter Soldier, but they thought of that in Loki and in What If and in the Spider-Man movie, of course, and maybe even in Shang-Chi. So it's No, he's not here. Like, get over it. Mephisto hasn't showed up yet, but he's always been rumored for a year now, or more, a little more than a year now, that he's going to show up in some Marvel project in the future. And do I think he's going to show up? Yeah, I do think that Mephisto will show up in a future Marvel project, but I just don't know what it'll be, when. It's all just rumors at this point anyway, so all we do now is just watch the Book of Boba Fett, and we wait for more Marvel stuff. Also, I want to say this, is that next Thursday on January 13th, over on HBO Max, the Peacemaker series will be premiering, starring John Cena as the Peacemaker. He is the character from The Suicide Squad that came out last year. And this series is a dedicated series to his character, Peacemaker. And I can't wait, because they said it's basically like DC's version of The Boys, because apparently it's very violent. And James Gunn, who directed the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and he directed The Suicide Squad, he also directed and wrote this show. So I think it's going to be good. I think that show will be... I don't know how many episodes it's going to be, but I think they're going to do like one a week. Every week on Thursdays will be HBO Max. So we got Book of Boba Fett on Wednesdays, and we'll have Peacemaker on Thursday. So, and there's a whole lot more stuff coming soon. I have not watched the new Matrix movie or season 2 of The Witcher yet. I just haven't got around to it yet. And with the spring semester starting soon, I might have time sometimes, like on weekends maybe, but I do need to watch The Matrix before it leaves HBO Max, and then I might talk about it. And then season 2 of The Witcher, I heard it was good, and then some people said it was kind of like story-wise, but apparently it has more action than the first season did, but I haven't watched it yet, so I don't even know. So yeah. If you have Disney Plus and you haven't checked it out yet, you should definitely check out Book of Boba Fett. It's really good so far. Only 2 episodes. Each episode is close, anywhere between like 40 to 50 minutes long. A little less than an hour for each one of them. So, yeah. And it'll be 7 episodes long. And after that, we'll hopefully get something out of Marvel. Maybe they'll tell us again, or tell us whenever like Miss Marvel or Moon Knight or whoever's next show will premiere. So that's all we got to wait for. With Morbius now being moved to April, what's the next big movie coming out? Because Morbius was the next one, in my opinion. Because it come out in January, but now it's been moved to April, and it comes out literally like a month before Doctor Strange does. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, that is. That's in May. I think it's The Batman. Yeah, let me look this up. I'm pretty sure The Batman comes out in March. Yeah, March 4th of this year. Literally in 2 months. The Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman movie. Crap, I gotta watch that. That movie's gonna be great. Like, you can say whatever you want about Robert Pattinson, but I think he's a good actor ever since Twilight. I think after Twilight, he got better. But I think he has the potential to be the best Batman, or one of the best at least, coming out of just acting skill, So I think he's going to be really good. And The Batman comes out March 4th, so mark that down. And I'll definitely be watching that in theaters. So, for all of you that don't know, I have an official YouTube page. You can go over there. The link is in the description of this podcast episode. You go click on it, tap on it. It'll take you over to my YouTube page. You can go ahead and subscribe. And in the comments of one of the videos, you can comment your question that you would want to be featured on a future episode of the Toddcast. It can be a would you rather question. You could be asking my opinion about a movie, a game, music, a TV show, anything really that you would like for me to talk about, or asking me just a random weird question. Down in the comments of any of the videos, really, just comment on the first video you see, or listen to the whole one and then comment, of course, and that way I'll be able to see them, and then your question might be featured in a future episode of the Toddcast. So I have a question right here, so thank you for submitting this question, and this is a would you rather question. So here we go. Would you rather run at 100 miles an hour or fly at 20 miles an hour? That's a very interesting question. Of course, being me, I'm going to have to dissect this question a little bit. If I could run at 100 miles an hour and be okay, like not dying at me just my skin hitting the wind at 100 miles an hour. It's like the Flash, but I'm okay with only 100 miles an hour. I'm not running like thousands of miles an hour that he can and literally like run so fast I break through a dimension. But flying at 20 miles an hour, God, that's slow. Like, have you ever driven? Like, if you're driving and you're like by yourself on a road and you're able to do this, like on a back road, drive your car at 20 miles an hour and then put it on cruise. And then see how slow that really is. Like 20 miles an hour, when you think about it, is not slow. Because, I mean, it's literally 20 miles an hour. Like, it's faster than 1 or 5, you know. But, like, 20 miles an hour on a back road might be, you know, decent to mid-speed. But 20 miles an hour on interstate will get you killed. Like, going 20 miles an hour on interstate is a death wish. But if I could run at 100 miles an hour, yeah, my hair would be messed up. But if I could run at 100 miles an hour and be okay, and, like, my clothes would be just fine, you know, and my legs wouldn't hurt. Like, if it treated my normal run, but just running at just my speed was increased to 100 miles an hour, running speed, God, I would do that. I would definitely pick run. Because flying, yeah, it's cool, but I don't want to go butt slow if I'm flying. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, what's the point of flying at airplanes go faster than that. Every airplane ever made, pretty sure, goes faster than 20 miles an hour. Except the only plane that probably didn't go that the only plane that probably went slower than 20 miles an hour was probably like the Wright brothers plane, like the first plane ever. But flying is cool. I would love to fly. It's like one of the best superpowers I have is flight. And it's cool, and you can see stuff from flying, of course, but running at 100 miles an hour, and it's like, it doesn't hurt my legs, but it's like, imagine you're somewhere and you just run. You know, you just run around a track, run down the road or whatever. It's that same run, just increased to 100 miles an hour. So it's like, if I still don't get tired after a while of running, you know. So like, if everything's the same, except I'm just going at 100 miles an hour instead of running however fast I actually run, that would be good. Like, it wouldn't, like, make me lose a lot of weight, of course, and everything that goes along with that. But running at 100 miles an hour would probably be the most optimal choice when you think about it. Because, one, it's faster. And if I could, like, it's a lot to think about because I'm running, so it's exercise, so I'm going to lose weight. If I run at 100 miles an hour, how much weight am I losing? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much sweat am I dripping? You know? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a weird thing to say. But, like, I don't know. Like, Usain Bolt is the fastest man alive. He's been to the Olympics. Like, that's how fast this man is. And running at 100 miles an hour, of course, I would be way faster than him. But, God, can you imagine 100 miles an hour? Like, from where I am right now, I could run to another state in less than an hour. It would take me less than an hour to get to the Mississippi River. That's how fast I'm running. It would take me, I don't know how far it is. It'd take me like a little over an hour to run to Texas. like that's the thought of it, you know? Like, if I wanted to run to Tennessee, it would be like 5 hours. Running. Running. You understand what I'm saying? I am running across the South and it would literally take me 5 hours across like 3 states from running. Yeah, I would choose run at 100 miles an hour. But like I can't run. Like I can jog, and I'm not going 100 miles an hour. I guess I'd be going normal speed. But as soon as I kick it into high gear and start running, I'm just tearing out, you know. So yeah, I'll choose 100 miles an hour run because that's kind of funny to think of, and I would get a lot of places too. I mean, I would start running if I could run 100 miles an hour. I would definitely start running more because there'd be no reason to drive unless I'm going like super long distances, you know. So, or got to take stuff with me, you know. So yeah, thank you for that question, and that's a really good one. Running at 100 miles an hour, yeah. What would y'all do out there listening? Would you rather run 100 miles an hour or fly at 20 miles an hour? So we're going to go ahead and get into a little bit of a drink review. So these 2 drinks that I got here are from Tennessee, and they're from the Apple Barn, a place I'm pretty sure it's in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And if you've never been there before, you should probably go at least once. It's a good place to eat. I've never had what I'm about to drink here, but they have like a little store. Like they have a general store, I think, or something, and this is from their store that they have connected to their restaurant. You just got to walk down a little sidewalk area there, and they got like a little whole area there to themselves. And this was brought back to me by my mom and some other members of my family. And I want to try it out right here, right now. And this is the Apple Barn Cider House. And this is called South Cider Apple Hard Cider. So I actually am finally getting to review some Apple Hard Cider. Of course, you can look at the picture of these over on the Toddcast Instagram at _Toddcast_. Only on Instagram, of course. And it's bottled by Apple Barn Winery. It's on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. It has a 5.9% alcohol by volume. 210 calories. It's got 53 grams of sugar. It's got some iron in it. Gluten-free. But yeah, this is alcoholic. I will reiterate that. This is hard cider. So whenever a drink has the word hard in it, you most likely know that it's got alcohol in it. And of course, these are in cans, so I'm going to be able to have that nice pop sensation to it. Oh, that was a good one. I always thought cider was thick. You know what I'm saying? Is it something else I'm thinking of? But I'm going to try this. I've never had it before. Holy Jesus, I can smell it. God almighty. It just smells like apple juice, but very strong. Like it is some potent fermented apple juice. So this is the apple, just the regular apple hard cider, the apple flavor. So I'm going to give it a try right now. So here we go. Apple hard cider. Let's see where you rank on the drink scale. Oh, Lord. Oh, that'll wake you up. It's only 4 in the evening, but good Lord. Oh, Jesus. Oh. I tried some, I think it was like apple wine the other day. Well, it smelled like apples, but it was like very, like, not strong wine the other day. I tried, like, it was for New Year's. And it was all right. It was not as strong as this, good Lord, but this is potent, like full-on fermented. Good Lord. I'm going to try it again just to give it a full range of emotions, you know. Oh. It doesn't hit you at first. As soon as it touches your tongue and goes in your mouth, you don't feel it. It's whenever I'm actually like starting to swallow and it gets to the back of your neck and your mouth, you know. That's whenever you're like, oh, and that makes you just like scrunch up, you know. It's not terrible. Like, I'm not throwing up. It's not making me puke, you know. but it's not the best thing in the world either. It's a very mid alcohol drink. It gets better after a while, but the apple flavor with the cider, I guess, I don't even know what cider is. It's just apple juice and water, but it's a crap ton of sugar as well, and I don't drink sugary drinks often anymore. Excuse me. What should I give you? Apple hard cider. I'm going to give you a score from 0 to 100. The official Toddcast rating score, 0 to 100. No decimals. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you a 58. Not too bad for an alcoholic drink for me, honestly. It doesn't taste bad, is the thing. Like, it's not making me want to just get the trash can out and throw up everywhere. It's not good because it's not the best thing ever. Like, in all honesty, on any episode that I do from here on out to the end of time, to the end I end this, or whenever that is, in many years, most likely there will never be an alcoholic drink that rates above an 80 to a 90. There's no way that there's any alcoholic drink that I drink that is above like an 85, because it's the alcohol. That's what gets to me. That's what I don't like. Like, they say, oh, the alcoholic drink doesn't taste good. What's wrong with it? It's the alcohol. That's what's wrong with it. Like, I have no problem with people who drink, who, if you want to, you can. I don't really care, honestly. But there are some drinks that I've tried, which is actually a lot. I've tried a good many of alcoholic drinks. But most of them aren't good because I need the flavor to overpower the alcohol. And that doesn't happen in a lot of them, because they're like, if you want an alcoholic drink that doesn't taste like alcohol, that is very hard to come by. Like, you got to overpower. That's like mixed drink stuff and just put like a shot of something in it and just overpower it with like Coke or something. But I'm just saying, this isn't bad. Like, a 58 is a decent score for this, honestly, because the drink scale, of course, goes from 0 to 100, and it's the same scale for all drinks and for food as well. But a 58 might be a terrible score for a soft drink, but for me, for an alcoholic drink, that's a good score because it's not making me, like, spit it out. It's not like the moonshine. God almighty. That's probably the worst thing I've ever tried on an episode that I've ever reviewed ever in the history of my life. So, but up next, after the 58 apple score, we have Muscadine hard cider, which is also from the same place at the Appleborn Cider House. This is also 5.9% alcohol. Oh, 12 grams of sugar. Really? So the apple one was 210 calories at 53 grams. The Muscadine one is 140 calories with only 12 grams of sugar. Well, I'll be Jove. Yeah. So I don't really like Muscadines. I've never tried a drink that's Muscadine flavor, I'll tell you that. But today is the first day. Y'all are witnessing by your ears of me trying a Muscadine drink for the first ever time. And it's a Muscadine apple hard cider. So it's still an apple hard cider. The first one was just regular apple. This has got muscadines in it, apparently. So let's give it a try. Oh, make you shake. Interesting. Whew, God almighty. It's just so strong to me, and I don't know why. I don't think I have a good tolerance for alcohol, honestly. I'm going to give you just a 56 right under the apple one because they're very close. The Muscadine one just had more of a little bit of in the wrong place for me. And it's not too terribly bad. I mean, it's not like gross, like I said. Neither of these are just downright terrible, but they're just both alcoholic drinks, and they're both hard ciders. And this was my first time trying apple hard cider, and with the Muscadine apple hard cider. First time for any kind of cider in my life. But they're not too bad, honestly. If you really like apple-flavored alcohol drinks, try these out. If you're ever in the Tennessee area, close to Pigeon Forge, whether you're on vacation or you live there or whatever, try these out if you never have before. They're pretty all right. But the apple hard cider sits at a 58, and the Muscadine sits at a 56. And if you ever want to recommend a drink for me to try, you can also go down in the comment sections of the YouTube videos and just recommend a drink. You can say Apple Barn Cider House, Muscadine Apple Hard Cider, or don't say that because I just tried it. But you can say like Coke or Coke Zero or something like that, just say a drink or more than one or whatever, or a brand of drinks that you would like for me to try different flavors of, and also say a question down there if you want as well. So now that the drink review is over, real quick at the end of this episode, I just want to talk about what is next for the Toddcast. The reason this episode is titled the way it is we're looking into the future of 2022, just kind of giving y'all my beginning of the year address that I would like to do. I probably will do this from every year on out. Give like not a big speech or nothing, but basically address all of you, the listeners, of what's coming in this year, what's going to happen, some plans. So pretty much all the episodes are just going to be the same as usual as they've been for the past 2 years, which also on the 11th, which is this coming Tuesday, is the 2-year anniversary. That is the day. January 11th, 2020 was the day that the first ever episode was released. And January 11th, 2022 is the 2-year anniversary. So you can have a drink on the Toddcast. I'm not paying for it, but you can pay for it. But just toast for it for the 2-year anniversary. Basically all the episodes will be the same until May. That's all I know. Because as of right now, I really plan on graduating in May 2022, which is in 4 months, I'm guessing. Yeah, in 4 months. And then I don't know what's going to happen after that. I don't really know. It's a big gray area after May because of if I go on a trip once I graduate, where am I going to work? How much time is work going to take, and then doing this. And if I'm working like a 5-day job every day of the week, all week, every week, we'll have to see what happens to this. Now, as of right now, the plans are that I'm going to just keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing this every week until I'm done with it, which will be in probably couple years, more years down the road, of course. I want to do this for a long time, but as of right now, because of being in college, it's worked fine with it. Just do online work, and then I come on here and do this every week. And it's me guest. So it's just going to be the normal regular episodes up until May, until like the 2nd or 3rd week of May, whenever graduation is. And then after that, I'll give more of an update as of then. But we're fine for these first 5 months of the year. Like we're pretty all right now. So once May comes around, we'll see what happens. And then, unless I get like super famous in the next 4 months and just get paid millions of dollars for just being known, like that's fine with me, of course. But unless that if that doesn't happen and I gotta get a real job, we'll see what happens then. So I will go ahead and say this. You need to subscribe to my YouTube down in that link in the description of this podcast, because there will be more uploaded to my YouTube channel that will not be the Toddcast this year. This year, of course, the Toddcast will be uploaded to YouTube. All of you that listen on YouTube as well. The Toddcast will still be uploaded weekly on YouTube. Usually, of course, every week episodes come out on Saturday on podcast providers, and then the following Monday, 2 days later, is when the episode is posted to YouTube. That will stay the same. That is the only thing that I know that will stay the same. But more non-Toddcast stuff will be premiering and coming out this year. As of right now, probably shooting for like August, September, October area, the fall of this year. I honestly think will be more YouTube stuff. And of course, I'm not going to stop doing this. It's just adding more stuff on there as well. That way, it's just not the podcast is the only thing on there. There will be more content and more videos, actual like video stuff on YouTube, probably towards the end of this year. I know that'll be a while, but I got to get through college first, and then we're going to see what happens after that, to whether I go get a real job, if I get famous doing this, become a YouTuber, anything like that, you know, because, I mean, I could do both. I can get a real job and be a content creator, but it's really just like play it by ear to a certain point, because I don't really know what's going to happen after May, because as of right now, I really do actually, but I don't know if I'm going to be on a trip or not, like to somewhere like a graduation trip with some friends or somebody, you know. But, and then of course working, of course, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. So, but you ain't got to worry about it. The Toddcast will still be coming out at its regularly scheduled time every week, every Saturday at 7 a.m. Central Time, and up until May. And of course, after that, it'll stay the same. Of course, we'll just have to see what actually happens. But as of right now, same thing. Just me being me, talking about movies and Marvel and stuff, and then alternating with guests, of course. So, and of course, you just gotta stay tuned to see what happens in this coming year. So it's going to be a big year, not only for me and for the Toddcast as well. There's a lot of stuff in the works. Talking with different people, working on some different stuff other than the Toddcast as well, and we'll actually see what actually happens in this year. So, yeah, so that's my address. I do plan on giving one of these at least every year in January. So thank y'all for sticking around, and I hope you enjoyed this episode, because I know I did, of course. And I think that's going to do it for this episode. As always, please rate and subscribe, and if you're listening over on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell to get notified when new videos are uploaded. And make sure you follow the Toddcast only on Instagram for all your updates and Toddcast needs at @_Toddcast_. Tell your friends and tell your family to give it a listen. And thank all of you for listening to this episode. If you want to know what's going to happen next week, well, you're just going to have to tune in to find out. Only on the Toddcast.